we have 4 innovators, like last time, like yesterday, where we had 4 innovators join us who shared their journey with us, who shared their challenges and how they overcame those, their advice, their way forward with us. So on keeping with the same spirit, please join me in welcoming Mr. Kevin Houston from Carbon Masters. Please keep the applause going. Ms. Maya Vivek from Urvi Sustainable Concepts. Ms. Rashi Agarwal from Banyan Nation. Mr. Rakesh Kasba from Cherries Engineering and Innovation India Private Limited. I also invite the chair, Mr. Vinod Achanta, who's the founder of Dias Works. He wears many hats, a marketer, a branding professional, an IT professional, and also someone who invests extensively in innovators. So thank you, Vinod. So Vinod, may I suggest that we have, say, a 5-minute introduction by each of the panelists, and then you could conduct it therefrom. Yeah, thank you. Over to you, Vinod.
Good morning, everybody. So I'm Vinod. I am with Inkwash since 3 years. This is one of the sessions that I'm so happy to announce that all the people have been associated from Inkwash 1. Am I right?
Yes.
And we remember working hard, calling them from the stage 1, explaining what Inkwash is, letting them know how it makes a difference to what it is today. I think this session is going to be a lovely session in the sense of how we have journeyed together over a period of time. So I'm associated with Inkwash in the capacity of branding and media, and I also handle digital and IT. Over to Mr. Kevin.
Hi. Well, good morning, everybody. My name is Kevin Houston. I'm the co-founder of a climate tech company based out of Bangalore, and our mission is to address the climate crisis by coming up with clean energy and low carbon solutions that can displace fossil fuels.
Quickly introduce yourself.
Good morning, and I'm Maya Vivek. I'm the co-founder for Urvi Sustainable Concepts Private Limited. And basically, we are more known with our brand name, Holy Waste. We are into the segment of floral waste management.
Hi, I'm Rashi Agrawal. I am the director at Banyan Nation. We're a circular economy plastics recycling company based out of Hyderabad.
Namaste, I'm Rakesh Kasba. I have come here with the story of 2 people. One represented by me, the common man of this world, and the other one, the man in the sanitation, who is doing all that what I don't want to do. And everybody knows both of us. And that is the story about Jalodbast and the way we can solve it. I see it as catching the legs of an octopus. Not one technical thing can hold it, not one social. There are so many aspects to it, which all of us together can catch hold of it, and then we will have unlimited rewards for the society. The problem we created in Indus Valley civilization, we'll be lucky to see it end. In our times, the Nar Narayan, now commonly known as manual scavenger, will be a thing of past. Thank you.
So we will take it in the following agenda. We'll have quick introduction about your companies, and then there are questions. I have few questions for you, and then we'll take the audience questions also in that direction. Whoever can go first. You have a presentation. Yeah, we'll be playing the presentation. So who would like to start first? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So before that starts, it's a very unique combination you see from floral waste to sewage to plastic and management of sewage also. So this is complete waste management in box here. And there are some questions that relate to even municipal areas and private partnerships also that are possible. There's some research that has happened in this way. So over to you, Mr. Kevin.
Yes, well, I'm going to tell you a little bit about what we do and tell you a little bit about a project we've just completed in nearby in CityPet. Next slide, please. So we're a company that started out in the UK back in 2009 when I, at the tender age of 56, went up to Edinburgh University to do a one-year carbon management master's program where I had the good fortune to meet my co-founder, who was a brilliant young engineer from Bangalore. And we set up Carbon Masters with a mission to try and address the climate crisis. We came to India in 2012, set the company up, and for 1 year tried to persuade Indian companies to do what we've been successfully doing in the UK and Europe, which is to measure their carbon footprint and then help them reduce it. There weren't actually many takers for that exercise back in 2012, so we thought if Indian companies wouldn't buy advice, would they buy a solution? So we've ended up in the biogas business. What we do uniquely is we convert organic waste, either the organic portion of municipal solid waste or agricultural wastes like chicken and cow dung, pressed mud from the sugar industry, or things like rice straw. And via anaerobic digestion into biogas, we clean that biogas up of its impurities and we compress it into uniquely designed cylinders which we market and sell as a carbon-neutral fuel to displace LPG for commercial cooking. We can also put it in vehicles as a transport solution. We also take the digestate slurry from our digesters and we make a premium quality organic fertilizer. Next slide, please. So this is a good example of the circular economy in action because we're taking waste that would be either burnt, dumped in a river, or dumped in a dump site. We bring it into our biogas plants and via anaerobic digestion create biogas, which we purify and sell and turn into two products that I would argue the world needs right now. A lower cost, lower carbon fuel to displace fossil fuels, and an organic fertilizer that could put carbon back in the soil. Next slide, please. So the two products that we've got, our gas, as I say, principally today we're selling it in restaurants, hotels, and now increasingly in industries to displace LPG. It has a higher calorific value than LPG. It saves costs. It's cheaper than LPG, particularly right now where the LPG price is 70% higher than it was in January of last year. So there's a big reason now why industries should move off of a high-cost fossil fuel that's emitting carbon dioxide into a lower-cost, lower-carbon fuel. Equally, we have an equal climate crisis happening in our agricultural sector. The massive overuse of chemical fertilizers is denuding our soils of nutrients, which is making our soils infertile. We need to put good quality organic matter, carbon, back in the soil. That's what our fertilizer does. Next slide, please. So, the recent project we completed is a good example of what the inaugural session yesterday morning was talking about. How can governments and municipal authorities work with startups that have innovated to solve a problem? And that's what we've been very happy to do and are continuing to do in CityPet, where we've joined hands with the municipal authority of CityPet to build a facility which was built on a dump site. So we've taken waste land and turned that into an energy producing plant and a fertilizer producing plant. That plant will process 10 tons of organic waste generated by the citizens of CityPet. We also bring 15 tons of garden waste from which we make our fertilizer. We will produce something like 300 kgs of our gas every day, which we can sell to local restaurants to provide them a lower cost, lower carbon alternative to LPG, as well as being able to sell to local farmers fertilizer which enriches their soil and puts carbon back in the soil. The revenue from both those products covers the OPEX cost. So the business model with this was that the municipal authority, under the leadership of Dr. Raman Achari and supported by Sri Harish Rao Garu, the Minister of Finance in the Telangana government, we've made this project happen. We built that plant. We were trying to do it in 100 days. We had a lot of rain. We built it in 100 dry days, and today it's producing gas which is being used in kitchens, and in the next month or so we'll be beginning selling fertilizers. In the remaining minute, I'd just like to play a video which shows how we constructed that plant using the dump site land. So in closing, I'd just say that's what we like to think is a perfect solution for thousands and thousands of towns across India, where instead of that waste being put in a landfill to release methane, which affects the climate, you can use a dump site land and turn that into an energy and fertilizer plant that can generate revenue, cover its OPEX cost, and provide a cleaner, lower carbon environment for the good citizens of Siddipet and, frankly, any other town in India. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Kevin. A big round of applause for the Siddipet project that is starting. We would like to see that happen in every district, if possible. Now, I have a specific question for you. I saw your carbon lights in a box model. It's a beautiful project for communities, and there are, in the south side, a lot of communities that are coming up. My specific question is, what is the ROI that a community gets? For example, Inkwash helped a community with the previous version 1 startup, which is called Tallboy. We set up a waste management thing for generating compost for 800 kgs a day waste that comes in that community. Now, if carbon lights in a box is to scale, what is the ROI and what do you propose for municipalities to take it up for the bigger communities where they don't have to manage the sewage or waste?
Right. Well, our carbon lights in the box solution is a solution we've developed where we've built the anaerobic digester inside shipping containers. So we've executed this right now with the BPMP in Cormangala. The benefit of doing it that way is that if you don't have the land to build a conventional circular civil constructed digester, our carbon lights in the box solution can work. The ROI depends on a couple of factors. How much waste are we looking at? The solution's ideal from loads between 1 ton of waste a day up to about 5 tons. Then there needs to be a usage of the gas close by. We're fortunate in the Bangalore execution, the BPMP gave us land under a high tension wire, so you can't build either side of it. But it's right in the heart of the city. We process 5 tons of waste, which is generated locally, not going 100 kilometers out to a dump site. We generate the gas, we clean it up, and we're fortunate. We don't have to pay for compression costs or bottling costs. We can fire it straight over the wall into a Truffles restaurant, where he uses the gas every day for cooking. So if it depends, now the ROI on that project is very good. It'll pay out very quickly, particularly when you consider the revenue that can be got from both the gas and the fertilizer against the high price of both fertilizers today and the high price of fossil fuels. The return on investment of these types of projects gets better every single day with the rising prices that you're competing against. So it's the perfect solution for smaller scale, community type waste projects. The specific ROI depends on, is there a direct usage nearby for the gas?
Only a yes or no for my next question in the interest of the other speakers. Can these commercial gas, they are also buying commercial gas in communities. So can you retrofit the solution such a way that the commercial gas is also given back to the society? Yes, no?
The difficulty in India at the moment is domestic consumption of gas is still subsidized by the government. So it's difficult to get a viable case to provide domestic users.
Okay.
But one certainly can provide commercial LPG customers with a much cheaper, much lower cost, lower carbon product.
Thank you so much. We'll have the next presentation now.
Yeah. Yeah, ours is a case of, neighbor's envy. Basically working with two beautiful creations, flowers and women. So here's a small video that will take you through what we do and our products that have come out. And then I'll talk later. So that was us in a Navy. I would like to take this opportunity to thank ASCII to have been in touch with us. We've been in the first, Inkwash session, and my presentation, just about 3 slides, will show you how we have changed from then to now. May I have the next slide, please? So the biggest change that happened, or the contribution or achievement that happened, was we signed an MOU with CDMA for being a partner in floral waste management, to implement the program with ULBs in Telangana. And from there on, it has been, of course, like what they say, I mean, if something doesn't kill you, it just makes you stronger. We were on the verge of closure during COVID, but somehow we managed to survive. And it has only made us stronger. It has made us more ambitious right now. And we have added more SKUs. As you can see, the towers that are, that you see on our graph is all that has happened in the last 6 months. We are very ambitious in the sense that we are looking at ourselves and building, making ourselves an $8 million company by 2026. Fingers crossed. Next slide, please. This has been our achievement, if I were to talk in terms of the impact we have created. We have 14 women to whom we have given direct employment. There are scores of others who work with us, work from home for them as well. The biggest thing that gave us a smile on our faces was about 8 women who never had a bank account started banking. They had their own, debit card, and using them was really, really a big milestone for them. Similarly, the kind of wastage that we have managed to process over these years is close to 2 lakhs kgs of floral waste in Hyderabad city alone. And of course, the kind of products that we have added to our kitty right now, and which are open in the market for sale. This is the team that we have built over the years, who's keeping the force going. Yes, the last. And yes, some of the good words that our customers who have bought our products, who have left behind good words for us. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I have a very specific question for you. I went to your stall yesterday and bought this beautiful alternative to Lysol. So my Kamwali came and asked, "Sahab, Lysol khatam ho gaya." So then I kind of picked it up very impulsively, and it's a very good product. My question to you is, from the ink wash one till now, you have kind of diversified beautifully into the Lysol base of product also. What are the scalability options that you have, and how would you like to get help from ink wash? This is a beautiful product, scalable, and I'm sure it can be sold in a higher manner. What
Absolutely,
are the,
absolutely. I mean, see, from the beginning, we have been very clear that the products that come out from our stable has to be something which is non-toxic, which is absolutely safe, and which I would, recommend my child to use. So that's the kind of motto we have been working with, and the Lysol alternative, or the, Raksha that we call it. Holy Waste Raksha is a completely plant-based product that we have come out with. We call it the Plant, Pet, and Child-Safe Floor Cleaner. Now, how is this going to be scalable, and how is ink wash, going to be part of this? Of course, I mean, there has to be a partnership. I mean, first thing is acceptance of floral waste as being wastage at all and a health hazard. That itself is somewhere missing, So acceptance of that as a part of the waste which can be segregated and which can become a resource to create employment, to create newer products. That has to come up first, Then, of course, partnership that we are looking at from with different entities, be it the ULBs, be it the GHMC bodies, or even markets for that matter. That's a second part of it. Scalability is about, how much you are able to gain from, as a resource, the floral waste that you're able to gain. And of course, about the paisa, right? We are confident of the money that we are paying our workers, and they stick to us. However, to scale, we definitely would look forward to, individuals or investors who are willing to dream along with us and see reality in this dream to scale. Yeah.
Thank you so much. On that note, you should look at the Kamwali channel very seriously.
Absolutely.
Incentivize them and we'll get good sales. We'll have the next presentation now.
I don't have a visual, so I'll just speak to the growth we've had since the last ink wash. 6 years ago, we were one of the first startups at T-Hub, which was in itself a very innovative concept. And when we came to T-Hub and when we were pitching that India would one day use all recycled plastics as packaging, we were told that that was a pipe dream. And I'm happy to report that last year, Surf Excel became India's first brand to use 50% plastics that are from Banyan Nation and that are recycled and not virgin plastic. So, and other than that, there are some 15 other brands who are now using plastics that are recycled by Banyan Nation. And this, could not have been possible without, our investors and customers and the government of Telangana who have had tremendous faith in us. And just last year, we also were able to raise funding from Exim Bank's Ubharte Sitare program, which is, a validation for the government's belief in us. And I think what has kept us in this industry is the integrity with which we work. And that integrity is seen in the engineering rigor with which we recycle plastics, right? Because brands want to know that they are buying from a company that will promise that the product is safe for use by the millions of customers, right? So it's the entire brand at risk. And that engineering integrity really has got us where we are in recycling. And, integrity of the supply chain itself, where we have 100% traceability down to the kilo of the source of the plastics that we procure from the scrap dealers and kabadiwalas across the country. And most of all, it's, I would say, been our resolve. Even when we were told that it's a pipe dream, that India would never use recycled plastics in packaging because of the trust deficit, I think we've been able to defy those, naysayers and today India is laying a path for many of the developing countries and to use recycled plastics in packaging and replace the use of virgin plastics as much as possible. And as we speak, we're doubling our capacity from 6,000 tons per annum to about 12,000 tons per annum, and more to come in the future as well. And I would like to request all the startups in the waste collection space and all the ULBs present here to please join us in our journey as well to reach 100,000 tons of plastic that we want to recycle in the next 5 to 6 years.
Thank you. I have a very specific question for you. I'm quoting your CEO, Mani Vijay, who said the goal of every startup is to recover the plastic at the lowest cost and any cost. So my question hence is, when you are collecting the plastic, what is the time to segregate it that you're taking, and how difficult is it in the overall process of ROI?
Yeah, like I said, the integrity of the process begins at the supply chain, right? So what we've done is taken great pains to train that supply chain. So see, one way would be to ape the West and create massive material recovery facilities, or MRFs as they're called, to segregate plastics. But we all know that the efficiency of those MRFs is not the greatest. And in a country like India, where millions of people rely on those recyclables for their livelihood, you would be displacing all those people's livelihoods. So what we've done instead is we've invested in that supply chain. We train those people not just in quality segregation of plastics by resin and various other factors, but also in things like personal safety, right? So all our suppliers are trained in how making sure that they have all the right PPE on the field when they're working, and also training them on things like ethical treatment of labor, ensuring everybody is paid on time, paid fairly, and things like that. I'm not saying it'll be, Rome won't be built in a day, but slowly we are reaching out to those suppliers so that instead of, being brute forced with, Western solutions, that we have a solution that integrates all our supply chain so that they can give us very good quality segregated feedstock that we can then recycle.
Is the Ishitwa Robotics person here right now? Somebody from Ishitwa Robotics? Anyway, so there is a beautiful solution called Ishitwa Robotics, which we are pitching. I know it is difficult to afford that. However, what I'm proposing is probably a meeting with the public health, public professional, you and Ishitwa, so that we can figure out funding
Yes.
in a hybrid manner so that it helps. While it takes care of your personal personality and personal management stuff, it also helps the segregation at a ULB level. So
Right.
I just request you to look at that,
Yes.
and thank you so much.
Absolutely.
We'll now move to the next presentation.
Mr. Vinod, I am best on my feet. Can I stand to speak?
Please, please, feel free.
Thank you. Yeah, as I said in the introduction, it's between a story of two people, one represented by me and the other one, the better one, on the other side doing that sanitation thing, which I would not like to do. Please, the first one. Back, please. Back, please. Yeah, so my alma mater, NIT REC Srinagar, and then 21 years in the government and 8 years in private sector building hydropower projects. So here I saw the man working at level 0. I saw the risks, use of explosives, the tunneling, the earthquakes, the landslides, floods. The ground at this time was shaking under me. And we didn't see people dying just like that. I learned all this. I learned about, in the hydropower, I learned about the water hammer phenomena. I learned about the dynamics of sludge and sediment flow. one thing I did not learn, next please, this one, normalization of loss of lives, normalization of damage to the lives, not seeing who is responsible. So we had a proper system, everything was seen as a responsibility. In 2017, when I came to live in a city, this scene, this was so shocking to me. In such a comfortable and a safe environment, just a pit maybe 10 feet deep, and people die. And with all the facilities, infrastructure, responsible people, sensible people, high authorities, and people die. So it was shocking for me. So my life took a turn. This small girl was the Statue of Liberty for me. And she decided that I should now look at it. So I thought there is some technology which is missing, because in our projects we see technologies maybe a decade before they are known to the world. But unfortunately, the technology for them was not there. Next, please. So immediately my mind went to the problem, previous one, please. My mind went to the story from Kashmir. I belong to Kashmir. There was a demon, Jalod Bhau. He would hide in the mud and come out and kill people and again hide in the mud. It was, as per the story, it was a very difficult task to do. Kashyap Rishi called all the powers and then had a fight and finally neutralized this fellow. And I felt that Jalod Bhau is still living in these small pits, these septic tanks, manholes. So I needed Jalod bust, something to bust this Jalod Bhau. Next, please. And this was the simple problem that we were facing. It was now multiplied by 11 crore new toilets, thousands of kilometers of sewer line, the manholes, and still we were not doing enough for it. Next, please. Next, please. So I thought it's a technical problem. By the time I was done with the technical problem, I was invited here in the Inkwash in 2020. That time I was working on technical. We went into the field, got it validated by the end users, and we were good to go. But by the time then I realized it's not solving the problem. So what's the problem? Then I looked at this octopus fellow. Just I thought catching one leg means trapping him. No, that was not happening. So this octopus had many legs. It had a social leg, it had a legal or properly said a criminal leg. So this is a criminal activity. Then there is an economic. Anybody having a little more money will not do it. And what will happen to me if there is enough of money for everybody and nobody is willing to do this? Then the commercial, nobody thinks it as a commercial activity, whereas in a recent report it has come out about 60 billion market opportunity. And when we are able to tackle all this, the benefits are in health, the safety, circular economy, and so, next please, one step back. So we got technology which would give the livelihoods. So I am supported by Dr. Russell. He is a PhD in economics from Harvard. I am also supported by Mr. Gopal Rao. I am Bangalore alumni, and together we'll sort it out with the support of all of you. We are supported now in 2022. We got the financial supports. And I want you all to remember, this can be solved only after we tackle this octopus. Every one of us has to come together to hold its legs and solve it. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Rakesh. So, we have any questions from the audience? Yeah, can somebody pass on the mic to her? Fourth row.
Good morning, everyone. My question is for Kevin. Firstly, I would like to know what is the methane content that is produced from the biogas digester. I've seen in this slide
Right, so raw biogas, which all of you will know from either yourselves or your parents as Gobar gas, which has actually been around in India. The very first biogas plant in the world was built in Maharashtra in 1857. So India gave, like yoga, gave biogas to the world. Now, not many Indian people know that, but that's true. So raw biogas is about 55% methane, 26% carbon dioxide, and a few parts per million of hydrogen sulfide. Now, unless one removes the hydrogen sulfide from that gas, it will rot any metal after a period of time, which is the whole history of Gobar gas. People works for a year and then breaks down. So when we purify it, we strip out the CO2 and get it down to less than 4%. We take out the hydrogen sulfide and we take out the moisture. What we end up with is normally called either renewable natural gas, we call it bio-CNG, or biomethane. Biomethane has either a minimum of 90, can be as high as 95% methane. So it has more methane in it than natural gas. Though I think natural gas for me is a misnomer. There's nothing natural about that gas, it's a fossil fuel. When you burn it, the CO2 causes climate change. The beauty with organic methane is the CO2 released on burning only puts back into the atmosphere the CO2 that was taken out when that organic material was alive. So from an accounting point of view, you are not adding to carbon stocks. So we are making a carbon neutral fuel. So when I replace LPG, I'm saving the carbon dioxide that fossil fuel would produce. So I have a carbon neutral gas. I hope that answers your question.
Thank you for your detailed response, sir. Now let me introduce to you that there is one more 10-ton per day treatment plant in Hyderabad which CSIR IICT has developed, and it is installed based on CSIR IICT's technology. Now that is installed in one of the market yards, largest market yards of Hyderabad city, where about 10 tons of organic waste consists of vegetable waste, fruit waste, everything that is being treated there. Now we are able to generate about 600 cubic meter of biogas. Now in your slide I have seen that about 300 kg of bio-CNG is produced. That if I calculate rightly, it will be about 750 cubic meter of biogas from 10 tons of waste. Am I right, sir?
We would, with food waste, our simple mnemonic is that 10 tons would produce a minimum of 30. We potentially could get more, but we think 30 compressed biogas, because when you take raw biogas and then you purify it, then compress it, the volume does reduce. The methane content goes up with the amount of gas you're producing. So we're assuming we'll get at least 300 kgs of gas when we're at full capacity.
Okay. So my question now is, will this be economically feasible? Because if there is a bottling unit to compress the biogas into a cylinder, it needs to be a plant having about 10,000 cubic meter biogas production. Then only the bottling unit will be economically feasible. So how is that Siddipet doing it?
I think you're quite right. I mean, ideally, because of the cost of compression and bottling, you'd want a minimum of about 20 tons. But you need to look at this thing in the round. We are bringing in 15 tons of biomass every day, which we will make around 5 tons of fertilizer. What we've done is find a unique way of combining the digestate slurry from our biodigesters, windrow composting, and an inoculant that we put in. That gives a very high quality organic fertilizer. So it's the revenue from the fertilizer, the revenue from the gas, covers the OPEX costs, and we'll be able to do, which we are, a profit sharing based on those volumes with the municipal authority. The municipal authority has put the capital costs, a one-time capital cost, to solve the problem, has no OPEX cost for the 15 years that we'll be doing this, and has a share in the profits that we're going to make from the revenue from the gas and the fertilizer that we're selling. But you are quite right. Generally speaking, to make, it's a scale issue. A 20-ton plant is fine for bottling. But as I say, because we've got guaranteed 15 tons of biomass every day, we can look guaranteed to turn out at least 5 tons a day of good quality fertilizer. The economics of that, combined with the 300 kgs of gas, makes the project economically viable.
Okay, thank you, sir. So now we'll be more happier that we have 2 10 TPD plant in Telangana state. Right,
I
sir?
hope we're going to have many, many more.
We welcome you to the Bhavanpalli plant, sir, to visit our plant as well. Right.
Good.
Thank you, sir.
ma'am.
Thank you so much.
I think if there are more questions, you can personally meet Mr. Kevin
Yeah,
also.
sure.
Anybody else? Yeah. Can you pass on the mic to the gentleman in the fifth? Yeah. Any other raise of
I am
hands?
referring to Mr. Rakesh. Rakesh?
Mr. Rakesh Kasba.
Rakesh Kasba.
Yeah.
I come from a village. When I was a child, actually, my mother, whenever we used to see aeroplane going over the village, so I used to run out and my mother used to pull. Why? She used to say, the human waste will fall on your head. And when I became a father of a son, he was a child, and when I went to railway station, taking him, and people were actually, scavengers were removing this thing, human waste, and my son asked me, what is he doing? In fact, I didn't have an answer. So I actually moved from your presentation. In the Indian Railways, I gave the example of railways, Indian Railways and our airlines. Even today, when we go to the railway station, the question is this. When we go to the railway station, even today we are seeing people removing it. So can we not do what is being done in the aeroplanes, wherever at least when the railway station comes, can it not be? I have been myself thinking, but I just thought, you raised this very interesting thing, important thing, and very moving point. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, everything is possible, sir. And it is economically feasible also. Only thing is we have to sensitize ourselves that this is something which we don't want happening. Today we have normalized, as I was talking about, normalizing the deaths. Same way we have normalized somebody doing this thing. I don't see myself in his shoes. And the innovations that I have brought in, I have applied for 6 different process patents so far. They are in different stages. A few more will come. And all of them are techno-economically feasible products where the livelihood, the economics, and I foresee a time when the caste barrier will be broken because the man and this dirt, there is an interface which is my machine, which is the brand Jalodvast. It will give him an income around 25,000 per month. And people from all communities and castes will want to do this job as an operator. So it is possible. We are going to do it. I have got international partners, supporters, and thanks to Dr. Chari and Aski, they are also supporting this. So it's going to happen. Soon you will see it happening, sir.
Thank you so much, everybody. We will be closing this session now. And Dr. Mali. So it was wonderful having you all, Mr. Kevin, Ms. Maya, Ms. Rashi, and Mr. Rakesh. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for this, and wonderful to see your journey, and thank you so much for the warm words for Inkwash.